So, 2016 is finally coming to a close. With a little over a week until New Year's and Christmas only a few days away, I figured now's the best time to reflect over the past year. It's a time to remember what we've done, figure out what we did right, what we did wrong, and what we'll do differently next time. With that in mind, I'm taking the time to make this yearly roundup video to talk about the channel, my other off-site content, and the various relevant adventures I got up to. I'm considering making this an annual series, provided y'all don't object to the idea. Leave any feedback in the comments below, as well as whether you'd like to see another roundup video next year. Now, without further delay, here's Twi's 2016 roundup. I'll be completely honest, this year has been a bit of a mess. I had wanted to do so much but ended up doing quite little. It was suggested to me that a highlight reel would be pretty cool to see in a video like this, but I don't think I've done enough work this year to warrant one, so instead I'm just going to talk about a few things. First up, I'd like to address my shortcomings this year. In my introduction video, I feel I made promises that I never delivered upon, both to myself and to you. I meant well, but you can't entertain people with good intentions alone. On top of that, not only was that the worst video I've produced all year, it also belies the biggest problem the channel has had. To put it short and point out the obvious, I've made bugger all content this year. That's not even limited to my YouTube either. My DeviantArt and my fanfiction accounts have seen next to no uploads, and I flat out skipped NaNoWriMo this year, but I'll talk about those a little later on. For now, let's stay within the walls of this establishment. As I was saying, I've not made much. 11 videos altogether, of which only 8 are proper content. That's less than 10 videos since I first uploaded in March, and this channel has technically existed since August 2015. So much for that plan I mentioned in my update video, huh? A Twi Talks every Friday, and an In the VIP room every other Monday if possible. I don't think I'll ever stop kicking myself for screwing that up. Heck, I've managed to make more videos for the VIP room series than Twi Talks, currently sitting at a 5-3 split as of writing the script for this video, with another VIP room video in the works, meaning I've technically got twice as many interviews done than opinion videos. That is almost as bad as saying I was going to avoid having MLP dominate my content and then having 2 out of the 3 of my Twi Talks videos be about MLP. I guess this all falls on my shoulders though. I've been too lazy and to a lesser extent unmotivated to produce anything, hiding behind the excuse that I didn't have any good ideas. But that's not to say that I didn't do anything this year. As lazy as I was, there are still some good points to speak of. For instance, I've managed to interview 6 people with only a small amount of planning and a lot of improvisation. Sure, it helps that I just need to ask questions and let them answer and ramble on to their heart's content, but it's content that people seem to enjoy listening to and being a part of. Plus, they were a lot of fun to record, and I can't thank everyone who agreed to do them enough. My personal favourite video this year, however, is my Pokemon gym video. It was the most fun to script and plan for, since it's one of those few things that I still get really into when I think about Pokemon. To double down on it, I'm extra glad I made that video because Loxton doesn't seem to have any plans to go ahead with the idea of making a video about his favourite gym ideas posted in the comments of his own video. Not that there was any guarantee that my gym would have been in that video if he did make it, but I remain confident in my chances nonetheless. Loxton, if you're watching this, I still want to see you make that video, even if I don't end up in it. Moving on from that, what else was good about this year? Well, nobody who watched my video on Crusaders of the Lost Mark got super salty and rampaged through the comments, though I'll admit I'm a little disappointed that I didn't gravely irk someone with what I had considered at the time to be a super unpopular opinion amongst the Brony fandom. Beyond that, I've received almost entirely positive feedback about my video so far. For the most part, this is great news, though it also belies a lack of critical feedback or ass-kicking that I most definitely need from time to time. Beyond that, we have to move outside of the midnight pint and into the wider web. Previously, I stated that I didn't make much content for my other sites, specifically fanfiction and DeviantArt, but I obviously implied that I did make something. This year saw the first chapter of my Equestria Girls fanfic, currently titled New Magic, be uploaded to both sites. Despite being unsure if it was any good, it's only received 1 downvote on fanfiction and just as many views and upvotes as my longest standing story Ode of Silver. Now if only I could take my ideas for the next 4 chapters and do something with them all. Aside from my fanfictions, I also wrote a short story titled The Sunset System Fading Madness. The piece specifically is just named Fading Madness, referring to the character, my former self, Epsilon, and what is happening to him in his own private world. The extended title, The Sunset System, is the overarching title for all the stories specific to this world's characters and the world itself. If there's enough interest, I could do a video about it specifically at a later time, but for now, if you want to follow it, you'll have to go and watch my DA page. So far I've gotten only praise for Fading Madness, and I'm hoping to live up to its quality or better with all the future additions to that storyline. From websites with many words to one with few words over and over again, some of you may have realized that I created a Twitter this year. I have mixed feelings over this, as I have no idea what I'm doing with it. If anyone has any advice for getting more followers or how to use it most efficiently, I'm all ears. You can tweet me at midnight_pint. I do love me some sly plugs. Pushing past that to something that I was actually excited to be a part of, yet still confused on what to do all the same, I can't do a roundup without mentioning my appearances on the MBS show. 1,000 cheers for the awesome Norman Sanzo, host of the podcast in question, for having me on not once but twice this year. I also still hope you enjoyed your trip down to my fair city, and look forward to seeing you again sometime soon, Norman. Be it another visit to your family or bumping into each other at a con. See PonyCon 2017, maybe? Speaking of being face-to-face, there was one last super exciting thing that happened this year. The MLP panel at FurWag, Perth's local furry convention. It's not a terribly huge event, but being on a panel by itself was more than enough to get me giddy and excited for the months leading up to it. Thankfully, I managed to be relatively calm and collected during the panel itself, which was a lot of fun. If you were there, then cheers for coming to see us, especially if you came to sit with us in the lobby afterwards. I got to meet some of my fellow WA bronies for the first time thanks to that, which was just as much fun as the panel itself. I do have some gripes and grumbles, however, regarding that event, namely that it seemed rather disorganized, or at least its organization suffered from unreliable staff. To cut a rambly story short, we weren't able to set up until less than 10 minutes before the scheduled start time for our panel, thus making us start about 20 minutes late. And we weren't even allowed to run overtime despite there being a full hour of dead time between us and the next panel, whom I believe to be the reason we couldn't get in to set up our panel on time to start with. Suffice to say, I wasn't impressed by that, though I'm sure that's the fault of a few irresponsible individuals and not the con staff as a whole. I'd still love to go back again and be on the MLP panel in the future, but sadly from what I've been told, the con has gone from taking a break next year to flat out never happening again in Perth. A shame. But hey, at least I was there this year while I had the opportunity. Sort of. That's about it for 2016. A few exciting things happened for me in this channel, despite the otherwise lack of content I produced. Here's to me getting out of bed and doing as I should in 2017. I hope you look forward to it. Until next time, cheers. Just a quick afterword, the channel has reached 50 subscribers. I know it's not a huge milestone like people who celebrate having a few hundred or a few thousand, but this is the highest I've ever had on any channel I've run, which is only one other channel. But still, 50 subscribers, that's pretty awesome in my books. Small victories, right?